belt squeal. More belt squeal. Oh, there she is. Drops to 9. Belt isn't squealing anymore. And I bet it'll drive all the way to work like this. Like I said, it's just in the morning when it's like below freezing that it's doing this. But anybody that knows when it goes to 9 like that and it's actually losing voltage, you see like the gauge cluster and the lights just like dim almost immediately, showing that you're losing that top end 14 volts and it's dropping down to like the 12 area, and I'm not experiencing any of that because I like to do things spicy. Throw the Jeep in neutral, turn it off, start it back up, and look, 14 volts. Let's see if it stays for the last 3 minutes I have to work. And I still got 14 volts when I get to work. Running good. Subtle squeal on the belt, but nothing crazy. I had the Cherokee on for about a minute now, and if I had to guess, any second now it's going to drop to 9 volts and the check gauge will come on. And I'm not entirely sure what's causing it. As you can see, there's no check engine light, but if I turn it off and restart it, you'll notice that the voltage will come back to like the 12 range. Then it'll repeat the process and turn the check gauges back on. But if you cycle the key, it comes back to this position. Ironically, a year ago, I had the same thing happen the first couple nights that it got cold, close to freezing. And it's almost as if something is telling it not to charge, because all my connections are good. I confirmed with the multimeter that I had a good solid connection. I basically used the alternator post and the ground post on the battery to see if I had 12 volt, and I did have a complete connection on it, and it's just acting strange. Kind of surprised it's hung on this long this time, but I imagine if I give it a few more minutes, it'll eventually go to check gauges. It's the next day. I decided to look into this again. I started it up. I wiggled around the ASD relay because I heard somebody had similar problems, and really the relay just needed to be reset or it was burnt up. So I swapped it with a known good one and no change. Let's go ahead and turn this off. I think I'm gonna come out here, and I heard another person said try unplugging the bottom plug on the alternator and starting it again. So let's pull that plug and see what happens when we start it this time. I'm really leaning towards it being a burnt up alternator, and I might take it to get rebuilt here in a little bit. No change on the gauge with the alternator unplugged, other than of course the main lead coming off of it. It's still plugged up, but the little plug on bottom is unplugged and nothing has changed. So either A, that plug isn't doing anything and it doesn't matter that it's unplugged, or it's unrelated altogether. So once I took my alternator off, I looked in this plug. Could possibly be my problem is that pin was starting to look kind of corroded. The post didn't look bad. I could still see clean copper between the nuts and on the lug of my lead going to it. But I mean, you can tell I've put this thing through the ringer of splashing through mud, and I'm just wondering if that might be my problem. I'm going to take it to my alternator shop and have them test it and possibly rebuild it. I guess we'll just see how it goes. The bearing itself is in good shape. As you can see, it's turning pretty smooth. So we're going to try to get this thing sent in. And oh my goodness, was it tough getting back out of here. I kind of forgot how tight the 136 amp alternator is in this thing from a Durango, but I got it out with a little bit of work. The main secret is letting the front part of the bracket there loose. I got one nut loosely holding it on there at the top. You can see it right there. It's just holding it in place, but really you just might as well take all those nuts and the one bolt off so you can easily slip that bottom ear in and out of that bracket. At this point, I got the alternator back from my favorite alternator shop, Cape Starter and Alternator, in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and Jackson, Missouri. Anyways, love those guys, but the brushes were out in this. Lynn also put some bearings in it, so it should be ready to rock for the foreseeable future. I went ahead and took the bracket off the front side of the alternator just so it's easier to slip back in than it was to take out. We're gonna put it in there, hang it from the top side through the double fork mount, and then bolt it back together, and hopefully it fixes my problems. Literally went in easy peasy. The hardest part is shoving it through this window right here under the AC compressor mount and the AC compressor lines. Well, I should say the condenser lines. Shoving it in between that, though these kind of give enough. Just be careful because, you know, you're putting torque on this thing going to your condenser. But once you get it through there, really you just rotate it in place, get that bottom fork to go past the bottom bracket, and then you rotate these two into place here, and then you just bolt it with the bolt going through the front and hold it while you put that bracket back on, and then everything else in theory should go back together just like any other normal alternator. So let's piece it together and then see if everything is working right. Here we go.